So, you want to save more money this year? Well, it turns out that I have the same goal. Now, I'm a money coach, but I'm also a natural spender who happens to be a savings queen. But this year, I want to actually save more money than I did last year. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing what I'm going to be doing to save more money. It's something I'm also going to be sharing with my clients, but it's also something that I want to share with you too. So let's have a sit down and let's chat about saving more money this year. Okay, let's start off with the first thing. What I'm going to be doing this year to save more money is that I am going to be connecting back to my vision. So what do I mean by this? If you are a person of faith, this is going to be thinking about God's vision for you, what you believe God's purpose is for you. But even if you're not, you want to be thinking about that North Star goal. What is it that you're trying to work towards when it comes to your personal finances? So for example, is it something like financial independence? Do you want to get to a point where you don't have to rely on your job to pay your bills? Or do you even want to retire early so that you don't have to wait until the conventional age of 65? Whatever it is, I want you to connect back to that this year. And even though it may seem like it's so far away, for example, even though you may be looking to retire early, that may be a few years away, it's so important to connect back to it, because what you do this year will dictate how closer you will get to that ultimate goal. So if I use myself as an example, I had a vision of working towards financial independence. It is not only just for me to become financially independent and stop working, but it is also for me to then have the time to spend with my church, spend with my community, spend with my family, and also to help people on that journey too. So what I'm going to be doing this year is when I'm, doing my budget and I'm thinking about my savings goal, I'm going to be asking myself, does what I'm saving for help me get closer to that vision? And this is something that I think we tend to miss out. This is something that I didn't even really focus on last year, but now I'm like, no, what is the point in you saving all of this money? It's not for you to just sit down and have money in a savings account. So I think it's really important for us to actually sit down and just say, do you know what is my North Star goal? What is my vision? What am I actually working towards? Because I think that will then cause you to work towards your savings goal even more, because you're not just going to be saving just to have money in your bank account. You are going to be saving for a specific reason. And if you're liking this video so far, then feel free to give me a thumbs up, as it really does help to support the channel. Plus it's free. And I think once you also have that vision, you will then start to figure out, okay, well, what do you need to prioritize this year? So if I cast back to about 2018, this is when I first had the vision of working towards financial independence. I realized that in that year, there were things that I had to work on. Yes, I wanted to save money, but I wanted to use those savings to pay off my debt, because I was in debt. And in order for me to also still continue to work towards being financially independent and investing and all of that nice stuff, I had to pay off my debt, because my debt was expensive debt. So I decided to prioritize that in 2018 and also 2019. And that really grounded me, because every single time I was questioning, oh, should I be focusing on something else? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? I went back to the vision that I felt like God had given me, and I was like, oh, no. I'm still working towards financial independence, and so I am going to continue paying off my debt, because I know that once I pay that off, that is going to help me get closer to my North Star goal. Okay, second thing I'm going to be doing this year to save more is to have one focus. Yes, just one. Now, I'm not saying that you should only have one goal. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that you want to have one focus. So what is the one thing that you want to achieve this year. If your plans go completely kaput, but there's one thing you are able to achieve this year, what is that? And the reason why I say this is because I feel like over the past couple of years, I have just had too many focuses. And what tends to happen is when you focus on too many things, you end up getting overwhelmed and then you probably won't achieve any of them. So I've decided that this year we have one focus. Everything else is a bonus. Okay, so again, I'm not saying that you can't have more than one goal, but what I'm saying is that you will have the one focus, and then after that, everything else, if you do have other goals, that will become a bonus. So you want to ask yourself, what is the one focus for this year? Is it for you to be able to finally save for that emergency fund? Is it for you to finally have money to actually start investing, and you pick how much you're going to start investing each month, each quarter, whatever it is, to then get you again closer to your vision? So what I'm saying is pick one focus. Let that be your focus for this year, and let everything else, any other goals that you have, let that be the bonus on top. But you want to ask yourself, by the end of this year, did you achieve the one focus that you had? Now, this is also something that I plan to do with my clients this year as well. My plan is to help them save at least 5,000, and that 5,000 will then be used for something specific, a specific focus that they have this year. Whether they want to use those savings to pay off their debt, whether they want to use those savings to start investing or save up for their down payment on the house, whatever it is, again, I'm going to be telling them, let's have one focus, let's focus on that specific thing, and then if you do end up achieving your other goals, well then that is just a great bonus and you can pat yourself on the back. So if you do want to learn more about one-on-one money coaching and how I can help you save your first 5k, I'll make sure that's linked in the description below for you. But let's not make this year the year where we get too overwhelmed and do nothing. Let's focus on that one thing so that by the end of the year, we know that we have done so well simply because we had one focus and we achieved it. Okay, next up, what I'm going to be doing this year to save more is that I'm going to be making sure that I have the right tools. Now, when I'm talking about tools, I mean how you're actually going to save that money, how you're going to do it. When we talk about saving money, it doesn't just happen out of thin air. There are things that you will end up doing. Now, when it comes to tools, for me, if you are a long-term subscriber, you will know that I would 100% recommend having a budget before you decide that budgets aren't for you. I think one of the reasons why you might be saying that is simply because you have not found a budget that works for you. And you probably feel like a budget is there to just kind of stop you from being able to enjoy your money. In fact, it is the complete opposite. When you actually do a budget, it's pretty much just numbers, but it is you who will decide what your money does. You will decide what to put into your budget. Now, if you're completely new to budgeting, I have an amazing detailed video where I literally go through step by step exactly how I budget my money. So make sure you check that out. I'll leave a link up here for you and in the description below. But you want to be asking yourself, how are you actually going to save that money? And are there specific things that you did last year that helped you to save money? Or is there anything that actually prevented you from saving more? You want to ask yourself that because you want to understand what is working and what isn't, because if there are things that aren't working, you of course want to tweak that. So for example, when it came to last year, you may have said to yourself, okay, when I get paid, I'm gonna move a certain amount of savings. I'm not sure how much, but I'll decide when I get paid and move a certain amount. But what you may have found is that you wouldn't do it, and then by the end of the month, you would have spent all of the money without actually saving any. If you realize that that method didn't actually help you to save any money, what you might then tell yourself this year is, rather than you choosing when you're actually going to save the money when you get paid, what you might decide to do is actually automate everything. You may decide that you're going to set up a standing order and an X amount of money will leave your account every single month. That is something you may decide to do. So again, you want to be thinking about your tool. How are you actually going to save that money? What worked well last year that you can continue to do this year, and what didn't work so well last year that you can use to adapt or tweak to actually help you save more. I would also be thinking about how you're going to save your money if your circumstances change. So for example, if you end up getting a bonus at your work, or you end up just having some extra money that comes in at random times, will you end up saving some of that money? You want to start thinking about that now so that you actually have a plan for it if it happens. I think sometimes what tends to happen is we're like, oh yeah, we're going to save money here and there, but then we don't actually end up reaching our goals because we didn't necessarily have the right tools to help us. If you can actually establish your tools, establish how you're going to save money now, this will then help you as you go throughout the year. Okay, the next thing I'm going to be doing this year to save more money is that I'm going to be making saving money more fun. Now, this may seem a little strange and you may be thinking, okay, what has fun got to do with saving money? But for me personally, when it comes to this year, my words of the year are fun and joy. And I really want to be able to actually enjoy saving. I want to be able to enjoy working on my finances. And so for you, I would love to challenge you to think about how you can actually make saving a bit more fun. I think sometimes we take personal finance a bit too seriously. And yes, it is important to, think about your finances and all of that stuff, but it doesn't always have to be really boring or so serious. So if I just use myself as an example, when it comes to investing, I find it really funny sometimes because me and my husband will almost have competitions to see who has better returns, to see, how much each other's portfolios have grown. And we do that just because it makes it fun. And so for me, that makes investing fun. And so what I'm going to be doing is I will constantly be asking myself, how can I make saving fun? In fact, actually, if you joined me on my last YouTube live, someone asked a question about actually doing a savings challenge. And I've never really done savings challenges before. All I tend to do usually is just save my money at the beginning of the month, and then that's it. I go about my day. But what I'm going to be doing this year is I'm going to be thinking about how I can actually challenge myself to just make these random savings here and there and almost make it a competition just so that I can make it fun. So for you, ask yourself, are there ways that you can do, challenges or anything to help you save a bit more money? For example, I've had clients who decided to sell some of their clothes on Vinted or eBay just to see if they can actually sell, make some money, and then add that to their savings. So I would really love for you to try and make it a lighthearted approach this year. Yes, you probably will have serious goals that you're working towards, but how can you make the process a bit more fun? And if I use myself as an example, I actually have an app on my phone where if I post receipts, if I actually send them my receipts, I will end up getting points. And if I do some of their quizzes, I will also end up getting points. And after that, if I get a certain amount, I can actually cash out my reward. This is not something that I use to make loads of money, but I find it fun because what I can do is once I cash out that reward, I can of course add it to my savings. And so I'm going to be challenging myself to try and capture as many receipts as possible so that I can increase my points and use that reward to add to my savings. Again, it's not going to make a huge dent to my savings, but it is something that is going to be fun for me, and it's a little challenge for me, and it's lighthearted. So why not do it? Especially after the few years we've had, let's try and make this year a bit more fun. Now, if you realize, actually Veronia, this year I really want to be able to hit my savings goal, but I feel like I need more personalized help, This is exactly what we do in one-to-one money coaching. I have helped so many clients save so much more money to the point where I am now helping them to save their first $5,000 in less than 6 months. So if you are someone who has decided that you want to save a lot more money this year, but maybe you want my help, I'll leave a link up here for you and in the description below where you can actually book a call with me to find out more about one-on-one money coaching and how I can help you save your first 5K. So if you do feel like that's you, I look forward to chatting with you. If you did like this video, then please do give me a thumbs up if you haven't already, and let me know in the comments, what's your savings goal for this year? I now post every Sunday, so if you would like to know more, then of course you can subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next week.